Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? JD says, I love the lyrics. I know these are the best lyrics. These are the best lyrics ever written. I heard this song and I thought, wow, that's very deep. So I decided to remix it and put it as my intro music. Inspiring Minecraft AP always vibe into his own intro. I am indeed. I'm not sure when I will get bored of it. It's not something that you can easily get bored with, you know? I don't think it's gonna happen, so I don't know. I don't know. Still waiting. Still waiting. So, hope everybody is having a fantastic little day. I decided to go live today to talk to very early to talk about the peace proposal that is currently going on, and because I have some thoughts about it. So for those who don't know, for those who have missed it, yesterday, Donald Trump, after days of teasing it and talking about it, and the media hinting at it, came out with a peace proposal for Gaza. And this peace proposal was actually supported by multiple different countries, many of which are quite firmly opposed to America and also to Israel, and which are more close to Palestine than to Israel. So um, the peace plan is a 20-point peace plan. It was previously told that it was going to be a 21-point peace plan. Now it's a 20-point peace plan. I don't know if they just ditched 1 point because they thought, that one is not good enough. So that's where we are at right now. And I want to look through that and share some of my thoughts and share some of the predictions and some of the updates. As of right now, Israel has said that they liked that they not that they liked the plan, but that they will agree to the plan. Although Benjamin Netanyahu gave some, mixed reactions to it and some mixed messages as a result of it. But Israel seems to be on the side of just giving their acceptance to this agreement, whereas Hamas is expected to not agree to the plan. Although some say that they now lean toward accepting the plan. Hamas doesn't have much to lose, and they are usually not interested in peace plans or in agreements. They are interested in fighting and in dying. And then when they die, it's of course Israel's fault. Very typical. Bad Israel. Amit Yanuka, good evening from Israel. By the way, Nuxanor, a VTuber with 2 million subs, reacted to David Wood video. Which one did he react? Which one did he react to? To the Al Zut video? Who is that? Nuxanor. Never heard of it. Let's see. Gotta check it out. Send me a link, somebody, sometime, and I'll check it out. It'd be funny if he reacted to the Al Zut video. It would be nice if all the YouTubers, all the Twitch streamers made reactions to the Al Zut videos. That would be very good. So, yeah, I don't know anything about Nuxanor. Seems to have an anime profile picture, and that's usually a good sign. AP should govern Gaza. I propose that. I don't think they're going to accept it. I also think that I should govern the UK, to be fair. So I will have my hands full with both of those. So it might be too busy for me. I don't know, and I also don't want to deal with a bunch of Muslims. Who cares? Although that's also the case in the UK. So no, the cricket is gone. I don't know why the cricket is gone. All right, let's see. BB should retire already. That's very rude. Very rude. He still has a whole life ahead. He's still a young man. Okay, let's look at the peace plan. Let's look at this peace plan. Now, here is the thing. I want to share a few updates first before we go to the 20 points of it. One of those is that the latest report is that Hamas might lean toward accepting the agreement under some circumstances, under some conditions, but they are very likely not to accept the agreement. I just have a simple thought here. The Hamas negotiators are right now in Qatar. That's where they are based. That's where they operate from. That's where they do all their operations from. That's where they get together, meet up, and talk about the agreements and then give their responses. Qatar is supposedly on the side of this agreement and says that they are willing to make sure that Hamas accepts this agreement. Wouldn't it be very simple for Qatar to simply make Hamas accept it? Right? Qatar is a powerful country that hosts Hamas. Wouldn't it be very simple for them to tell the Hamas negotiators, boys, you either accept this agreement or you leave our country? It would be very simple, right? Very, very simple. Not sure why it would be so difficult, which just gives people the impression that Qatar is, of course, not innocent in all this and that they are in on the terror. Quite obviously so. However, let us proceed to look at the agreement in question. Okay. So I'm gonna look at the PBS version of putting it together, which is verbatim, so there's no changes about it. It's all exactly as presented. Read Trump's 20-point proposal to end the war in Gaza. Washington AP, the White House has released President Donald Trump's plan to end the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he supported the plan following a meeting with Trump at the White House on Monday, but it's unclear if Hamas will accept these terms. So here is the plan. Number one, Gaza will be a de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. This sounds very familiar, you know? This sounds very familiar because plans like these were made before, and it usually didn't work out. Because it's not simply Hamas that is a terrorist organization that causes the terror. It is much of the general population there that supports the terror and that supports the fighting. In fact, Palestinian poll, let's see. In the aftermath of October 7, so when the October 7 massacre was carried out, the Palestinians were asked about their thoughts on Hamas and on the attack. Now, I want to be as fair as possible and look at the nuance here. For the fifth time since October 7, we asked respondents, this is a Palestinian poll, by the way, from the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, what they thought of Hamas's decision to launch the October 7 attacks, whether it was correct or incorrect. 50% compared to 54% 7 months ago in September 2024, and 71% 14 months ago in March said it was the right decision. The decrease in this percentage came from the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, yada, yada, yada. Let's look at the graph here. Let's lead into this. So, according to this poll, asked in December 23, March 24, June 24, September 24, and May 25. So the question is, in your view, was Hamas's decision to launch its offensive attack against Israel on October 7 a correct or an incorrect one? They have the responses from the Gaza Strip and from the West Bank, and then also the total responses. You can see here in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks of October 7, just 2 months later in December, in the Gaza Strip, 57% of the population said that it was a correct move. So they supported the decision by Hamas to carry out their terrorist attack, their offensive against Israel. In the West Bank, for all those who miss it whenever we mention it, the West Bank, also called Judea and Samaria, is actually significantly more radical than the Gaza Strip, which might be a big surprise to people because the Gaza Strip is much more militant because Hamas is in charge, but the West Bank is actually much more radical. In the West Bank, 82% said that they support Hamas's terrorist attack on Israel. So as you can see here, It's not just Hamas that is rogue, that just takes things over and that just carries out a terrorist attack on their own without the support of the population. It is actually the population itself that very much supports these actions. Of course, you had over time a decrease in this opinion. In March, still most people supported it. In June, still most people supported it. In September, most Gazans started leaning toward the idea, okay, maybe it wasn't a good idea, maybe it wasn't a good idea. I wonder where they got this idea from. I wonder what gave them the idea after 1 year of fighting that maybe October 7 wasn't such a good idea. In May 25, 37% of Gazans said it was a good idea, and 58% said, okay, I think it was not such a good idea. I really wonder what gave them this idea, Something must have happened in the meantime. So, however, in the immediate aftermath of the October 7 attacks, most Palestinians, most Gazans, most people in the West Bank supported the terrorist attacks against Israel. So it is not simply Hamas that is the problem. It is the population. It is not simply Hamas that is the problem. It is the Palestinian population that is the problem. And that's not something that I'm just saying to be offensive. That's what you can see right here on your screens. When asked whether Hamas or Israel will be victorious, you can see large numbers, the blue ones, suggesting that Hamas will be victorious. And victorious to them means get thousands of people killed, of your own people killed, and get a strategic victory in some way. That's what their definition of victory is, of course. And so on. Then, of course, there's also another poll, which I might quickly bring up here, just for future reference, especially in order to be relevant to the following 20 points here, or 19 points. And that is this one. I shared this before. This is a poll that was asked over time again and again by the same polling center, and also with Israeli collaboration, where Palestinians were asked whether they support a two-state solution. In fact, the question is much better than that. It says, if the Palestinian leadership is able to negotiate a two-state solution with Israel, do you think that this should be the end of the conflict, or that resistance should continue until all of historic Palestine is liberated? Historic Palestine, of course, by their definition, means the Egyptian borders, the Egyptian map of Palestine, which, not Egyptian, the Palestinian map of that region, which the British drew for them, the British borders of Palestine. So the entirety of the land, all of Israel. That to them is historic Palestine. And their responses are usually, this should be the end of the conflict, which is blue. That is a less popular opinion. The most popular opinion among Palestinians is resistance should continue until all of historic Palestine is liberated. So what you can see here in these responses, this here is the West Bank, the top. The bottom is the Gaza respondents. What you can see here is that the majority of the Palestinian population has been consistently of the opinion that even if they are able to, at some point, achieve a two-state solution, this should not be the end of it. They should continue until they eradicate Israel and take all the land for themselves. This is the most popular Palestinian idea. Now, if I was Israel, I would say, why in the hell would I want to have a two-state solution with these people who simply see that as a step to continue and to eradicate me in the end? This is why I don't support a two-state solution. I don't care. I personally think that a two-state solution is a path to destruction, and I don't think that Israel should be pushed in any way to accept a two-state solution. There is no two-state solution. It will never ever be a healthy way to go. It will only prolong the suffering and only prolong the war. So Gaza will be a de-radicalized terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. Good luck with that. But if you can make it work, I guess within the context of the whole plan here, maybe it will work. We'll see. 2, Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. I agree that they have suffered more than enough. Unfortunately, much of that was their own doing. But yeah, of course, there are lots of innocent people there, lots of people who don't deserve to suffer. Even if they deserve it, even if they asked for it, I would always prefer that a solution is found in which the population does not end up suffering. And if a way can be found to make Gaza a viable place that abstains from terrorism and violence and hate permanently, maybe it'll be good. I also don't think it's a useful thing, by the way, for Israel to annex Gaza and to make it part of their territory. I mean, I would imagine Israel annexing the West Bank at some point and making it part of their territory. But Gaza, I feel like Gaza should just be like separated and moved away into the into the Mediterranean and turned into an island far away from everybody else. If both sides agree to this proposal, the war will immediately end. So this is the thing. If Hamas actually comes out today or tomorrow, I think Trump said that he gives Hamas 3 to 4 days to accept the peace deal. If Hamas actually agrees to the peace deal, this will, according to this agreement, be an immediate end to the war. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed upon line to prepare for a hostage release. Let me see if they actually put the map here. No, they didn't. Something's really wrong with legacy media, man. Like social media is in. I get the whole idea that social media is the new media, because much of social media is significantly more useful than legacy media. Here we have rapid response from the White House, which actually, you know what? I'll just switch to this and read it from here instead of reading it from PBS. They actually put the map up here. Here's the map. So, just to give some more context. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed upon line to prepare for a hostage release. Currently, the IDF controls the region that is marked in blue. So up until here, the IDF is in control. The yellow line is the initial withdrawal for the hostage release. So if Hamas agrees to the deal, the IDF will retreat to this yellow area here. I can imagine that a lot of Israelis don't feel very comfortable about this. During this time, all military operations, including aerial and artillery bombardment, will be suspended, and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met for the complete staged withdrawal. Can be done, but hope it works out. Within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement, all hostages, alive and deceased, will be returned. Israel already publicly accepted the agreement. Once all hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners. I know lots of Israelis don't like this. Plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7th, including all women and children detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans. As we know, one Israeli is worth many Gazans, many Palestinians. And this is not something that I'm saying. This is not something that Jews are saying. It's something apparently that Hamas acknowledges. That's always what they do. We take one hostage and we expect you to release hundreds, thousands of our fighters in return. Alhamdulillah. That's how it works. Once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. This is always a very problematic thing to do, but If it needs to be done, I mean, if you can do it, I guess do it. But maybe send them away somewhere else. Maybe all Hamas members should be sent to some Pacific island and then bomb the island. That would be nice. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. Okay. Upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip. At a minimum, aid quantities will be consistent with what was included in the January 19th 2025 agreement regarding humanitarian aid, including rehabilitation of infrastructure, water, electricity, sewage. Of course, the world is going to pay for Gaza once again. Rehabilitation of hospitals and bakeries, and entry of necessary equipment to remove rubble and open roads. This is the funny thing. Israel consistently pays for everything that happens in the Palestinian territories, right? Israel is consistently has to provide free electricity, free water, free infrastructure, free health. Israel has to provide all the stuff. And the other side can just return the favor by firing rockets and killing people. And then Israel, as a result, has to abstain from responding and has to give even more help. And then, of course, the rest of the world also has to chip in and send donations and taxpayer money. The world has to pay. Europe has to pay. America has to pay in order to rebuild Gaza whenever they destroy it. That just makes me think that, maybe some people don't deserve to run a land. Entry of distribution and aid in the Gaza Strip will proceed without interference from the two parties through the United Nations and its agencies and the Red Crescent, in addition to other international institutions not associated in any manner with either party. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, considering that the United Nations is associated with Hamas. Opening the Rafah crossing in both directions will be subject to the same mechanism implemented under the January 19th agreement. Gaza will be governed under the temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee responsible for delivering the day-to-day running of public services. I'm not sure how that, I haven't really looked into the details of that, but I'm not sure how that is exactly supposed to work. Is that in the works? Has that been demonstrated? U.S. proposal for temporary Gaza includes technocratic, apolitical. Everybody's just quoting them. Nobody knows how exactly that would work. Maybe they will do it like Albania and just install an AI government or something. That would be funny. Responsible for the delivering the day-to-day running of public services and municipalities for the people of in Gaza. This committee will be made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts. See, it explains it right here. Why can I not just continue reading? And international experts with oversight and supervision by a new international transitional body, the Board of Peace. Not to be confused with the Religion of Peace. Which will be headed and chaired by President Donald J. Trump. Like he doesn't have enough to do already. That's funny. With other members and heads of state to be announced, including former Prime Minister Tony Blair. This body will set the framework and handle the funding for the redevelopment of Gaza until such time as the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program. Now, why is the Palestinian Authority still involved in all of this? In any plan going forward in Gaza, the Palestinian Authority, which is in charge of the West Bank, should have no involvement at all. No involvement whatsoever. Atheist Gamer said, LOL, does Albania have an AI government? Albania actually appointed an AI minister for finance or something like that. So, I'm not sure how it's working out, but I'm not sure if it's actually in motion right now, but that's basically what they did. It's quite funny. The Palestinian Authority is currently in charge of the West Bank. They should have no involvement. The Palestinians themselves do not trust the Palestinian Authority one bit. The people in the people in the West Bank don't trust them one bit. They are corrupt to the core, and nobody likes them, and nobody should trust them. The world doesn't trust them. As outlined in various proposals, including President Trump's peace plan in 2020 and the Saudi-French proposal, and can securely and effectively take back control of Gaza. This is the least this is the worst part so far of this whole agreement. That the Palestinian Authority would take charge of Gaza. The Palestinian Authority is not a reliable authority. The Palestinian Authority is responsible for much of the mess that is going on in the West Bank. They should not be involved in any of this at all. This body will call on best international standards to create modern and efficient governance that serves the people of Gaza and is conducive to attracting investment. Yeah, sure, that's going to go very well. I think Gaza should just become its own little country and should be handed over to, I don't know, the United Arab Emirates. How about that? I just solved the problem. I just solved the problem, man. Why don't you ask me? Trump, I know you're watching. This is a much better option. Hand it over to the United Arab Emirates. Much better. I know you didn't think about this before. Do it. 10. A Trump economic development plan to rebuild and energize Gaza will be created by convening a panel of experts who have helped birth some of the thriving modern miracle cities in the Middle East. Many thoughtful investment proposals and exciting development ideas have been crafted by well-meaning international groups and will be considered to synthesize the security and governance frameworks to attract and facilitate these investments that will create jobs, opportunity, and hope for future Gaza. Okay, good luck. Special economic zone will be established with preferred tariff and access rates to be negotiated with participating countries. So much of this just sounds very vague right now. No one will be forced to leave Gaza. Come on. So I don't agree with this. I'm completely of the opinion that there should be a poll without announcing the intentions or the results of the poll, and everybody should register for the poll, and everybody should be asked whether they support Hamas or the eradication and complete conquest of Israel or an Islamic State fighting, and so on. And anyone who agrees to only one of these points should be deported to a Pacific island. That's my solution. Of course, the Pacific Island part is kind of a joke, but in all honesty, there should be a serious plan to remove all and deport all the people that of course, this is difficult to kind of to work out, but deport anybody who supports any hostile idea, any Islamist, any terrorist idea. It's time to get rid of those people. It clearly doesn't work to live together with them. And then the rest can become part of Israel. Same for the West Bank. 13, Hamas and other factions agree to not have any role in the governance of Gaza. Does other factions include the Palestinian Authority? Directly, indirectly, or in any form, all military, terror, and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels and weapon production facilities, will be destroyed and not rebuilt. There will be a process of demilitarization of Gaza under the supervision of independent monitors, which will include placing weapons permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning and supported by an international funded buyback and reintegration program, all verified by the independent monitors. New Gaza will be fully committed to building a prosperous economy and to peaceful coexistence with their neighbors. Look, this could have actually happened in the past. This could have happened in 2005 when Israel left Gaza. So Israel retreated, left Gaza completely in 2005, put a blockade around it and said, do whatever you guys want to do. Of course, they wasted no time and elected Hamas, and then everything went downhill from there, which was a horrible mistake. But this whole plan could have been implemented at that time to take over. Obviously, these people have no idea how to govern anything. So the whole place could have been taken over then, and a plan like this could have been implemented then. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but whatever. A guarantee will be provided by regional partners to ensure that Hamas and other factions comply with their obligations and that New Gaza poses no threat to its neighbors or its people. Hamas should be dismantled. There should be no future Hamas. I'm not sure why Hamas is still is still mentioned. It should be part of the agreement, or maybe it should come immediately in the aftermath that Hamas is entirely dismantled and disappears forever from the surface of the planet. Send them to outer space if you can. I don't know. Hamas needs to be completely eradicated. The United States will work with Arab and international partners to develop a temporary international stabilization force to immediately deploy in Gaza. The ISF will train and provide support to vetted Palestinian police forces in Gaza. I actually like this in a way, because you know what's going to happen? There will be very unruly, rebellious people in Gaza that will resist against this international stabilization force, and they will fight them. And this international stabilization force will slowly experience what it feels like to be in charge of the peace in such a place. And they will get more and more jumpy and overzealous, and more start cracking down on terrorist activities and rebellious activities. And the people in Gaza will start complaining that they are being oppressed and treated in an apartheid system. It will just go down the same road. But this time it will be the international stabilization force that will be the oppressor, not Israel. And maybe then people will wake up. The ISF will train and provide support to vetted Palestinian police forces in Gaza and will consult with Jordan and Egypt who have extensive experience in this field. Good luck with that. Good. Very, very much good luck with that. This force will be the long-term international security solution. Good luck with that. The ISF will work with Israel and Egypt to help secure border areas. Good luck with that. Along with newly trained Palestinian forces. Good luck with that. It is critical to prevent munitions from entering Gaza and to facilitate the rapid and secure flow of goods to rebuild and revitalize Gaza. A deconfliction mechanism will be agreed upon by the parties. Good luck with that. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. As the ISF establishes control and stability, the Israeli Defense Forces will withdraw based on standards, milestones, and timeframes linked to the demilitarization that will be agreed upon between the IDF, ISF, and the guarantors, and the United States. Really? Really? This is the White House account? Really, White House? And the United States. This is the new name of our country. The United States. This is the United States. This is the United States. United States. With the objective of a secure Gaza that no longer poses a threat to Israel, Egypt, or its citizens. Practically, the IDF will progressively hand over the Gaza territory it occupies to the ISF according to an agreement they will make with the transitional authority until they are withdrawn completely from Gaza, save for a security perimeter presence that will remain until Gaza is properly secure from any resurgent terror threat. Save for a security perimeter presence that will remain until Gaza is properly secure from any resurgent terror threats, meaning they will stay there forever. Man. All right, let's see that. So the IDF will progressively hand over the Gaza territory occupied to the ISF according to an agreement they will make. Okay, so here is the buffer zone. When ISF mobilized per standards set in Trump plan, This is the second withdrawal zone. Eventually, they will withdraw to this buffer zone here, this outer buffer zone. And they keep control of this buffer zone until it is made sure that that there is no longer a resurgent terrorist threat coming out of Gaza. This probably reminds a lot of people of 2005. In 2005, Israel pulled out of Gaza, and if David was here, he would say, not the way the Al Zud pulled out. And had to establish a safe zone and a sorry, I got thrown off by myself right now. Had to establish a safe zone and also a blockade around Gaza in order to make sure that there is no longer a terrorist threat. They had to install a safe zone and a blockade, which was to be gradually lifted. Guess what happened? The terror threat only became worse, which is why the safe zone was fortified more and more and more, and the blockade was only fortified more and more and more. As a result of which, the Gazans started complaining that they're being oppressed and put in a concentration camp, because the terror never stopped; it only got worse. Now, this time, of course, an international stabilization force is supposed to be in charge in order to make sure that that doesn't happen again. All I can say to that is good luck. You're dealing with Gaza. In the event Hamas delays or rejects this proposal, the above, including the scaled-up aid operation, will proceed in the terror-free areas handed over from the IDF to the ISF. Now, this is one of the most interesting parts here. This is the most interesting part of the peace proposal so far. So if Hamas delays or rejects this proposal, they have 3 to 4 days. Trump also said, if Hamas rejects the proposal, then you have my full backing, he said to Netanyahu, to do whatever you have to do. However, the detail here is, if they reject it, then they will just implement it in all those places that are terror-free, and Israel will continue the war wherever Hamas is still operating. That would be very, very difficult to implement, because these regions would be under immediate threat from Hamas the entire time. I bet Netanyahu is secretly hoping that Hamas will reject this agreement so that he can go in and destroy them completely. And I can't blame him. An interfaith dialogue process will be established based on the values of tolerance and peaceful coexistence to try and change mindsets and narratives of Palestinians and Israelis, emphasizing the benefits that can be derived from peace. Really? You want to change the mindsets and narratives of Israelis? You really need to put them on an equal thing here. And you really have to mention that you have to change the mindset and the narratives of Palestinians and Israelis. Guess what? When you go around and ask Israelis whether they would accept living together with the Palestinians or a two-state solution if the Palestinians were all very, very peaceful people and were not a bunch of Islamists, the Israelis will say, yes, we support that. If you ask the same question, if you pose the same question to Palestinians, they will say, no, we don't accept that. We want them all gone. There's a difference between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And also, you have to re-educate them and get rid of the idea of Islam. That's it. While Gaza redevelopment advances and when the PA reform program is faithfully carried out, I have my doubts about that. The conditions may finally be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. Yeah. They also aspire to establish a caliphate. You want to help them with that as well? You want to help them with that as well. You also want to acknowledge the aspiration of the Gazans, of the Hamas supporting Gazans, to establish a caliphate. I mean, maybe the White House should add to this. In place for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood and the re-establishment of the Islamic Empire, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people and which we wholeheartedly support. How about that? This just seems so stupid, but whatever. This is a very typical imposition of the Western mindset on a Middle Eastern conflict. And it simply does not work. It didn't work when America and the NATO went in and did it in Israel. It didn't work out when they went and implemented it in Afghanistan. It didn't work in any place where it was tried. It will not work here. This is a Western mindset. It's almost conservative Western governments even adopting this liberal mindset that you can just, work and tweak things a little bit and then just, just make things work even if it's a different culture, because all cultures are essentially similar, and all people are similar. They just need a little bit of help and all that. It does not work. This is the 50th time that you offer a Western plan to Middle Eastern Muslim people, and it does not work. Leave it to Israel. They know what to do. The United States will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything at all. This was tried before, and Israel has been doing it for the entirety of their time. In fact, Israel, starting with the Zionist movement, began these peaceful relations, peaceful interactions, and a prosperous coexistence plan with the Palestinians, who are only now called Palestinians, who were back then just called Arabs. They have been doing that for 100 years now, and it doesn't work. Israel has offered multiple peace deals. It did not work. Israel started out with establishing their own state and acknowledging a possible Arab state in the region. It did not work because the Arabs chose to go to war and to eradicate Israel instead. Israel offered peace in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, especially the 90s, and especially in the 2000s. It never worked because the other side never wanted to accept it. It does not depend on Israel's mindset. It depends on the Palestinian Arab mindset. They need to change. And I'm sorry, if they do not change, if they keep continuing to choose war, then they should get the war that they are asking for. And the West should stop jumping in and should mind their own business, take care of their own places, take care of their own cities, take care of the Islamization and the corruption of their own places, of their own cities, take care of their own demographic problems, of their crime problems, of their problems of decline. I think this is a dumb plan, and I think, in fact, I will say, this plan will fail. Whoa, it's a very bold prediction. How could I know that? I guarantee that this plan will fail. How many times do we have to do this whole thing where we are like, oh yeah, look, this is a very good plan. Finally, we have a good peace proposal. Moving forward, this peace plan will work out. No, it will fail. Just like every other plan that was proposed. Just because it is led by Donald Trump, that doesn't mean it's going to work out. It is going to fail. Good luck with that. Good luck with all of that. Good luck with all of that. Anyway, let me take some questions and I'll look at a few clips from Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. MT said, what? It's not night. How dare you? Greater voice. I can't do greater voice. How dare you? Nuance is hard. I'm going to go live later tonight as well, by the way. I think I want to look at the letter from Charlie Kirk, which I technically could do right here, right now, but I'm going to do it later. He reacted to the Ilhan Omar video. Lubna posted a video about having a midlife crisis that you should check out on your free time. I shall do that. I actually got in touch with Lubna, and she agreed to have a conversation with me. We'll see if we can make that work out. MT, can you cover the Hamas leader CNN interview? Can I cover it? Can I cover it? You mean the one from 4 days ago? The Hamas leader with the big Zabiba?
2 weeks ago, these...
Look at this guy's Zabiba, man. Look at this guy's Zabiba. So for all those who don't know, this is called the Zabiba. And there's actually a song about that as well. Some people might know the song. It's called Zabiba. It goes like this. Zabiba, Zabiba, I got a big Zabiba. Zabiba, Zabiba, I got a big Zabiba. Forehead looking like a cocoa bean. Praise be to Allah, I'm such a machine. So that's how it goes. But this is called the Zabiba. It comes from rubbing your forehead on the ground a lot in order to prove to the people that you are so devout to Allah, that you always pray to Allah, and that you are the best at praying and all that. So that's what it is. Maybe we should cover this, but it is CNN. I don't know.
You and other senior Hamas leaders right here in the Qatari capital. How did you and the other senior officials survive that attack?
You said Qatari. That's not how you say Qatari.
I think it is miracle because the rockets are very close to us. We are under target, and it was all the rockets were directed to the place, but we are not in the place which was targeted. Alhamdulillah.
It struck a different room.
Alhamdulillah. I'm pretty sure that Israel didn't intend to kill them all. You know, I feel like this was just a warning from Israel.
Is what you're saying?
We are in different place, yes. Maybe they have misinformation about the situation. The target is so heavy. They launched more than 12 rockets against the office of Dr. Khalil, and they destroyed completely. They killed 5 people.
They killed 5 people. I might look at that later. I don't want to get a copyright takedown from CNN. Carl Christian Roberts, thank you so much for covering topics like this. As believers and brethren in Christ, your voice is much value to us. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Appreciate that. Inspiring Minecraft. Here, have some money. YouTube won't let me say what I want to say, but I'll pay you anyway. I know YouTube sucks. Real Live Wire. Been fan of you and David Wood for 2-3 years. First super. Thanks for all you do. Glad you found God. Interested in seeing you and D cover Roy Casagranda lectures supporting Islam. All ham dum Allah. I shall check it out. I just made a note. Smile to Jahannam. Good to see you here, Smile to Jahannam. Those early streams are awesome. I should probably turn it off and rewatch it at 2 a.m. so I don't mess up my sleep schedule. Yeah, you should do that. Noam MKW, terrible deal. Also, too, we do not forget October 7, and we do not forgive. Ask Egypt for mercy. Inspiring Minecraft. At any other point in history, including modern-day USA, this area would be obliterated for what they did on October 7. Yeah. But hey, you will get sympathy from much of the world, which is interested in grifting over it and showing their virtues. The funny thing is, part of me wants the war to end just so that the grifters no longer have something to grift about, you know. So many people are grifting over this, and I just want the war to end so that they run out of grifting material. That would be very nice. I don't really care about the war. I just want the grifters to stop. Craig, Ali Dawa and his brother Palestinian leadership, best Christian evangelists of all time. They would lead to the whole place to a suicide mission. Yes. Too bad YouTube won't let me say what I actually want to, but indeed, good luck with that because you can't negotiate with them. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Zachary Galby, then world still won't wake up. They will still blame Israel. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, real life why I'm concerned about cities like Dearborn, NYC, and the planned epic city disaster. The ignorance of our people on both sides will cause more problems. Muslims, more problems. Yeah, I'm actually planning on doing a few things about Dearborn and about Texas, together with some people like Mike Winger, David Wood, and also Visegrad 24, going and talking about it, highlighting it more, attracting people's attention to it, because they serve as a very, very good example of why you should not allow mass migration and all that. Hunting Shark. Dr. Annette Wolff pointed out this conflict ends only when what she coined as Palestinianism ends. She's yet to be proven wrong. I love Dr. Annette Wolff. I met her. I talked to her. I have an interview with her on my channel, and I think she's absolutely right. She's one of those people who used to be on the side of having of finding a peaceful two-state solution and all that, and then had a sharp turn and is so brilliantly spot on about what the conflict is, what the root causes of the conflict are, how to go about solving it. I would definitely recommend her lectures and her books. She's fantastic. I love her. Jeremy, smash the like button. Holy steak mushrooms. Yes, smash the like button. There has been a fatwa declared on the like button, so everybody destroy the like button. Zachary Gelpi, Hamas isn't going to take the deal anyway. Yeah, don't think so. Rids, prop sounds dumb, but what's a good TLDR of the war? You want a TLDR of the Israel-Hamas war? The thing is, you can't give a TLDR of that without giving a TLDR of the entire conflict. And you can't give a TLDR of the entire conflict without giving a TLDR of the entire prehistory of the conflict. But to make it very simple, Jews had a land called Israel. It was known as Israel. It was taken over by the Romans. Romans changed it into its name into Palestine. Arabs later on invaded it. Later started and lived under empires. Then the British came and took it over and called it Palestine because that's what the Romans called it. And the Arabs living there later on wanted to claim the land for themselves. But the Jews wanted to reestablish their homeland and call it Israel, which led a whole Arab movement to develop their own identity in opposition to Israel and call it the Palestinians, which was only invented over the last 100 years. Wherefore, a conflict has been going on. And Israel tried to make peace with the Arabs the whole time, but the Arabs will not make peace. In 2005, Israel left Gaza to the Palestinians, but the Palestinians elected a terrorist Islamic organization that wants to eradicate the Jews and establish an Islamic caliphate. And Israel has been trying to calm them and handle the situation. But Hamas has been a terrorist organization forever, and they never agreed to make peace. Eventually, they exploded on October 7 and killed over 1,000 Israeli people, as a result of which Israel said enough is enough. We're going to destroy the place completely and handle this ourselves. So that's what's going on. Alhamdulillah. Mr. Olympian, hi AP, glad you're on. I was just thinking about you. Thank you. That's what I do all the time. Where can I get a cool masculine Jerusalem cross necklace? I thought you might have a good idea. Why do you ask me about getting a masculine Jerusalem cross necklace? I think you should Google that. You should find one online. You should find one on Etsy. Or just Google it and find it somewhere else. I don't know. I don't even have a masculine Jerusalem cross necklace. I only have a masculine Jerusalem cross tattoo. Silence Roy says, sounds to me like a Muhammad case. This is true. Trevor Crawford, honestly, the West Bank is more of a threat. They have the high ground with the mountains, and it's closer to more populated later area. It is a ticking time bomb, and it needs to be solved. Mr. Olympian, AP, honestly, will you have Mike Winger on at some point? I think y'all would have a great conversation. Mike Winger is one of my favorite teachers. I like Mike Winger. I would love to have him on sometime. That would be nice. Mike Winger. Mike Winger. Mike Winger. No, the other way. Other way. I don't know. This is the sign for Mike Winger here. Okay. Ida Rogozin, what are you doing here so early? Never mind. Happy to see you. Happy to see you, Ida. I decided that I have to go live. That's what I did. Sister Shine became a YouTube member. Welcome to the cult. There's just no leaving, just so you know. You gave 5 Apostate Prophet memberships. Thank you so much for imprisoning 5 people. Gabriel Valencia, now that you met Winger, do you regret having teamed up with Dawood instead of Winger? Yes. Ida Rogozin, not Palestine, Syria, Palestina. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm sorry about that. That is correct indeed. The Romans, when they took it in order to suppress the Jewish identity and crush the Jews, called it Syria, Palestina. That's what the Romans called it, Syria, Palestina. And later on, the Eastern Roman Empire divided it into different territories and called them Palestina. And in the English-speaking world, of course, this came to be known as Palestine later on. So the entire place is only called Palestine because the Roman Empire called it Palestina or Syria Palestina. And the Roman Empire is, of course, the deciding factor of culture in the West and what we call things, the Greeks or the Romans, or both together. And they decided that we call it that. So the British came back and called it that. And then the Arabs decided, this is a fun fact for those who don't know, in 1948, the Arabs living in that region had no intention to ever establish a state called Palestine. That was not a thing. Their intention was to work together with the Egyptians and the Syrians and the Jordanians to just conquer the land and unite as an Arab nation. The idea of establishing a Palestinian state never existed. It came into existence as a reaction to the existence of Israel. It started as a movement in the 1960s, 1964, and only was first officially announced and became mostly popular in the 1980s. That's when the whole idea of Palestine as a country for the Arabs became popular. And it became popular as a reaction to Israel. So the fundamental core idea of Palestine is the destruction of Israel. That's basically what this nation is about. The nation's fundamental idea is that this other nation, Israel, needs to be destroyed and we need to take their country. That's their entire ideology. That's their national idea, which they invented. Which is why Dr. Annette Wolff says that that Palestinianism needs to go in order to solve this conflict. That is the cause of this entire conflict. That's the disease. Mr. Olympian, also AP, it could be really funny if you don't tell David Wood and Mike Winger joins a live stream and challenges David Wood to a mubahala. Hey, that's a good idea. MT, the Zabiba song is so good. Forgot my landlord is Muslim and was playing it out loud one day. Played especially then. Noam, MKW, Winger and Wood both start with W. It's so cute how they love each other. It is. They're very, very nice to each other. Victor, it is amazing that some nation would call themselves invaders, yet claiming to be indigenous. Plishtim in Hebrew literally means invaders. Powerful. Yeah. That's what the Egyptians called them. And the Jews called them. But they're proud of it. Just like Ali Dawa.
Get the hell out of here!
Sorry, wrong button.
We're proud of that.
All right. Anything else? No? Okay. I will probably be live later again. Thanks everybody for watching. As for the peace proposal, my final remarks about it are good luck. No update. Okay. My final thoughts about it are good luck and good luck. Thanks everybody for watching. And as always, see you soon.